Well, I don't think in Austin that there's much of an introduction that's necessary today, but I want to start off saying that I hope that this isn't a yearly event for Texas basketball, but on the flip side of that, I do want to back up for just a second and show some appreciation for not only Travis and what he did for Texas basketball, because we all know that he was completely invested in our program getting to another step. But I also want to say, just in retrospect, because I've had a few weeks to really process our year, I really want to say how much I appreciate our entire staff. And the fact that for 4 years we were able, and we have been able, to keep a level of consistency with our entire staff, including support staff and everybody else. I think that's been a huge part of us being able to make the steps that we've made in our program. And again, appreciation for our players' commitment, and the retrospect's been really good for me, because you sometimes don't realize how good a year you have until you have a chance to step back and hear really what other people think about it. And again, really, really appreciate what Travis did for our program. I wish him the best of luck. I think that it is a huge compliment to our basketball program, and in particular to the University of Texas, and what it obviously means to the national scene for 2 coaches in 2 years to be able to take head jobs. And again, retrospect with Jay Lee, she did a terrific year at North Texas this year, and I think what it means is that we're developing people and we're developing coaches. And in our profession, I think that's something that's somewhat getting lost, and I'm extremely proud that we are developing people that can move on and be successful coaches in their own retrospect. So thrilled with that. Talking about Jamie, I think that it's not hard for anyone that's been keeping up with Texas basketball and the tradition of our sport. I think it's not hard to mention her name and everybody not understand the impact that she had in a short period of time here at Texas. It's been wonderful for me, first of all, to have had an opportunity to coach someone that played with the kind of passion that Jamie played with. It's one of those unique things, and I have used her in my entire career. I've always been able to go back and talk about Jamie as one of those guards that come around once in a lifetime from a coach's perspective, because she played with not only so much passion, but an innate understanding of what it meant to be a guard, and what it meant in her position to be a point guard, and what it meant to be a leader. And it's not surprising, I think, to any of us that she's a coach and that she's a teacher, because she was that when she played. Quite honestly, she was, and I think Jody would tell you the same thing, she was a coach on the floor. And you always knew that the players were going to be in the right place at the right time, because she was on the floor telling them where to get there. I'll tell you a funny story. Stacy Stevens told me one time Jamie showed up from Stanford. She was a transfer from Stanford, and she showed up for pickup the very first day. And, I think Stacy thought we were pretty good. And they start playing in pickup, and Jamie throws a pass to Stacy, and, Stacy didn't drop too many, but she dropped it. And I won't necessarily say exactly what Jamie said to her from Stacy's perspective, but it was simply, don't drop the ball again, please. And I think that set the tone for her and what kind of leadership she was going to have in our team. And she led us to a place that we hadn't been in a long time, and it is exactly what she will bring to the table as a coach. I have followed her career. She's spent an enormous amount of time working with the highest level athletes you can work with in USA basketball. I think she understands what high-level athletes mean, and what intentions they have and how they want to improve as basketball players. And then I think she had an opportunity to get her feet wet, which was probably necessary at Colorado, and learn what this side of the profession is like, and as far as recruiting and player management at this level. So I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled, and I will continue to say that our best recruiting jobs right now are the jobs that we're doing hiring coaches. And I believe very strongly that she can help us be a better basketball team. So, Jamie, Carey.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction, and my words to Stacy that day were, please, and thank you. So I just, it was so wonderful walking off the plane last night and having gone through this process, because truly this is home. And I had obviously a wonderful time here. It was a life-changing experience for me as a player, and it's truly nice to walk off a plane and see the tower lit orange. And I just thought that was pretty fitting last night. So I'm thrilled to be here. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Linda Lappy and the University of Colorado for the opportunity I had there. And moving forward, unbelievably excited about this opportunity. I want to thank Karen for once again stepping in and believing in me, and Mike and Chris and just the entire Austin community for welcoming me back. And I'm just truly thrilled to be here and work with this staff and George and Tina and the whole crew. And obviously it's a unbelievably talented group of players. And you know, I think what I've learned through my 30 years in basketball is I really relish in being around the best, and I want to be the best. And for me, that place has always been here at the University of Texas, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to be able to do that now on staff and work with these elite athletes that are here. So I feel very, very fortunate.
We'll take questions for both for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have a photo op, and then Jamie will be available for one-on-one. So,
Jamie, at what point of your basketball life did you want to become a coach? Was it when you were with Jody, or did it come after you finished?
That's a really good question, and I sort of have considered myself a coach the whole time, and I really have taken on that role as a player since the time I was little, and probably in moments that I shouldn't have when I was young. And you know, so I've always been a student of the game my whole life, and so I feel like, you know, from the point guard standpoint, in the way that I was always taught to play, you play a coach's role as a point guard. And as far as considering it as a quote-unquote profession, I started coaching high school as I was nearing the end of my professional career. You know, you have, as an athlete, so many wonderful experiences being part of a team, the competitive nature of what a team brings, and it gets a little bit frightening at the end of your career thinking about not having that piece in your life. And so my natural progression was coaching. And so I got into it, and I found that I love it almost more than I did as a player. I think it's a very rewarding profession, and I love the impact that you can make on players and the selfless nature that comes with coaching.
From the outside, from what we remember about you and what we know about Coach, you guys seem to be such a good fit. Did that factor in at all to come here?
That's a great question, and I don't know if you want to speak to it first or not, but I always felt like we were a really good fit. I appreciate her work ethic. She works harder than anyone in the business, and I think I align in that way with Karen, and something that, again, that I really appreciate. I've known her for a really long time, you know, so I trust what she brings to the table. I like her honesty, and I feel comfortable. So I felt like it was a nice alignment.
And I would say the same thing. When this position became available, there were obviously a lot of intangibles that were necessary. And what really became the biggest factor for me was our current players. And you get to this point in your career, you get to this point with your program that, you know, there's lots of factors that come to play with an assistant coach. I mean, you want them to be able to recruit. You want them to be personable with the media. You want all these things at certain times in your program. But what I thought was really important for Texas basketball right now was our current players. I wanted to stay in the moment. I wanted these particular players to have someone that I thought would really invest in them and that I thought would help them become better basketball players and better people. And that's where we aligned. There were so many people that this was a very attractive job for them, and there were tons of people that you would think would fit the mold. But what it really came down to is who can help these terrific basketball players that we have that are going to put on the Texas uniform, who can help them be better. And I just couldn't think of a better person.
Karen, when you look at coaches, you got Tina won WNBA titles, and Jamie was on the last Final Four team. How important is that to have coaches that have, for lack of a better term, been there, done that, especially Jamie doing it at Texas? That season's kind of been the standard since the 80s.
I think it's really important for the players. I think that if they can have someone that's on the floor with them that can actually walk them through it and show them how something is done, it's a little bit more comforting for them, and they may understand it better than if you're just standing there talking about it all the time. And obviously I'm way too old to do that. And I think what they're going to discover really quick is that this one they probably don't want to get in a battle with. I think she might still be in some sort of condition. So, and obviously I don't think they even remotely want to get in one with Tina. So it is a good place where you can have players that have been there and done that. They've walked it, they've talked it, they've done it all, and they also can get out there and still show them the ropes, so to say.
Jamie, the progression of this program since Carey has been here there's been progress every year. Obviously, from the first year to going to the second round of the tournament, the Sweet 16 to the Elite Eight. Now, so folks will naturally point to the next step as being the Final Four. Having played on the last Final Four team, do you see the pieces out of this? Do you see, are there some commonalities between the group that you were a part of and were a big leader of as to what's returning and what's coming in for this group?
No question, I see the pieces. It's a huge draw, and it's one of the reasons I'm here, is to try to help, get our program back there. There's no question the pieces are here in my mind, simply put.
Anything else?
Yeah, how would you, in one word, how would you describe yourself?
I only get one word.
You can have three.
3 words. I'll stick with one. Passionate. That's a really tough question, though. But as far as if I have to come up with one word on how I am towards the University of Texas, this basketball program, and teaching and motivating and being around players in the game, that's the one I would say.
Do you remember when you were in the Final Four, what intangibles that team had to make it that far that this team needs to have to make it that far?
That's a really great question. That team had a sense of feeling as a whole that no matter what gym we walked into, which opponent you played, that we would win. It was just a matter of figuring out how to get it done. And I think that sense of confidence, and it wasn't a manifest confidence. It was truly a sense of confidence. I think ultimately is what took that team to the Final Four. The other piece of that is I think us as players were a lot harder on each other than the coaches ever could have been. We were a very accountable group, and those are some of the things that I really remember from that group. And to be frank, watching from afar, I've seen a lot of those pieces here. And just truly excited about what the next year is to bring, and I just feel privileged to be a part of that.
Folks always ask when new assistants come in about recruiting, how much they like it, how much they're into it, how much the modern element of it. If you describe what's your recruiting style like? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, recruiting is an interesting element of this game, And I really got my first taste of it at USA Basketball, recruiting the same kids that are here. And, Colorado was a good recruiting experience for me as well. And, I truly believe anything that you believe in and anything that you love, you can sell. And I'm very motivated to work hard to give back to a place that's given so much to me and to the people that have given so much to me. So I'm excited to get on the trail. I'm grateful that I'm not necessarily behind in it because I know all the kids that are out there for the most part. And so I'm just excited to hit the ground running with that.
I'll say one more thing about, you mentioned Tina and Jamie. One thing that I'm really, really proud of, because I think it is an extension of my bosses. When I talk about Chris and I talk about Jody, who are my current and previous bosses, I think one thing that I learned from them was that if you could find people that were qualified, that it was really important to grow the game and help women follow you. They blazed the trail for us. And one thing that I'm extremely proud of is that I now have brought 2 women that I think can follow in footsteps and continue to help our game grow. And we're losing that a little bit, and I'm really, really proud that we've been able to do that here at Texas, because I really believe that's what Texas is all about. And it's been something that we've taken pride in as an athletic program, and it goes back a long time, and it's something that I'm really excited about and I'm proud about.
You mentioned that you said gotten away, maybe the game's gotten away from that a little bit. I noticed, like, when we're on the road, you'll get asked questions about the growth of the game and the state of the game, like an NCAA tournament environment, not necessarily in conference play or here. Is it still a challenge? Is it still, I don't know, crisis is too serious a term, but I mean, is it still a real important element that needs fostering?
It's an absolute important element, and it goes down to the grassroots, where we have to get back to grassroots development. We have to get back to grassroots selling tickets. It really does go back to that, and I think we really have got to try to find people that really want to invest in our game. And the reason why I mentioned our past and the people that blazed the trails is because that's exactly what they did. And we've gotten away from that a little bit, and I think we recognize that. And if you talk to the Don Staley's of the world, and you talk to players that I had a conversation with Nikki at LSU, who obviously coached under Pat, and when you've been under those people that really paid a huge price for us to be where we are now, then you understand what your responsibility is to move it forward, and I think that's really important for Texas. I think Texas is one of those programs that should also be always thinking about setting that standard, and I'm happy that we were able to do that.